We are back. What's up, everybody? Welcome to PodcastPD. We're going to be recording episode 123 here on our channel. If you're catching this, this is not something that's going to appear in the podcast. And we're back. This is exciting. We're talking about, has education reached its new normal? So we've got some thoughts on that. We're going to catch up. And if you're joining us live, please comment in the chat. If you want to be part of our conversation tonight, you can go to podcastpd.com/join, and that'll be scrolling on the bottom of your screen wherever you are. But let us know where you're coming to us from in the chat. Oh, it's been a while since I podcasted. Not really, though, because I do a live show every morning
you do.
At the school.
You do, so it's not the same thing.
Yeah, Stephanie's here.
Hello. Stephanie.
Welcome back, boss. Is that Sonic the Hedgehog in her avatar? Or is that some other sort of puppet?
I can't see.
Oh.
Sorry. She's going to let us know.
No problem. Stephanie, let us know what's going on in that picture. Just curious. It looks cute. All right. AJ, shall we turn on the party lights?
Yeah, I guess let's do this thing.
All right. Let's go. This is Podcast PD, the show that provides you with anytime, anywhere professional development. Our conversations and guests will provide you with the learning you might get in a faculty meeting or on a PD day. Except you're going to have more fun with AJ Bianco and me, Chris Nessie. Let's start the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Sunday night if you're doing it live with Podcast PD on this awesome Sunday night. We're back, cuz.
We back.
We back. My name is Chris Nessie, at Mr. Nessie on Twitter, and you are tuned in to episode 123 of Podcast PD, and I am joined, as always, by the podcast paisano himself, AJ Bianco. What is up, my friend?
What's going on, Christopher? What's going on out there, Podcast PD listeners? It's good to be back.
Good to be back. Now, if you're listening to this far into the future, you don't know that there was a few months in between 122 and 123. You're just happy that, hey, here's another episode. So, very, very exciting. But it has been a few months. We haven't recorded an episode since last school year, and now we're a month into the 22-23 school year. And let's be honest, AJ,
Yep.
The world is a busy place.
It sure is busy.
The world has changed since we last spoke educationally. We've been podcasting, Yankee baseball through the summer, but, life is different than it was way back in June.
It's almost like it's 2019.
Is it?
Feels that way a little bit. I don't know. Maybe a little bit.
We might have to unpack that.
Sure. That's what we're here for, guys.
But we are here. We are live. We record this on Sunday nights. And one of our executive producers is joining us in the chat, Stephanie Scrocky. Always great to see Stephanie hanging out in the chat. Hopefully Stephanie sends out a tweet or 10 and spreads the word to people.
Let it be known.
And I'm putting AJ to sleep. So AJ, what's on your mind, man?
No, nothing. It's Sunday night, man. It's been a long week, and it's been a long Sunday. Every Sunday's a long Sunday for me.
Most days feel long for me, let me tell you, because I keep busy.
I know you do. I know. And you're living your podcast world, and I've kind of neglected it for a while just because I'm trying to catch up on life around me. I feel like
No, and
that's
important.
It is. We talk about that all the time, but it gets busy. Everything gets busy.
So what's been going on with you that you can share since June? You had summer, we're back to school, so what's going on in AJ's world?
I don't know if I had summer. I don't remember that. I remember being in school and going there every day. The weather changed. It was hot. I left the building, and it was still hot. And then I coached baseball.
It was
and then
hot.
all of a sudden, it's like, hey, your students are back in the building. But no, it was a long summer with a summer institute in our building. We had PD courses going on in our building. It just felt like a revolving door. Just every day was just something going on. Nothing bad, just busy. So taking a breath was like non-existent.
Now, I know what might be on the mind of our listeners, so I'll ask, since they are not here to ask you. Did you put in all the intense hours in learning about how to develop a schedule that you had talked about? Like, did you do all that schedule work? And, where are you at with that?
We didn't change the schedule for this year. No, I think that's
Okay.
something we want to do going forward. We kept it simple. We kept it basic to what we've been doing. We made it work. Again, because the summer was so jam-packed with the Summer Institute and summer learning for students, we didn't have a lot of time to sit down and really hash out exactly what we wanted to do and make the change going forward. But, it's there, and we know how we want to make a change. We just got to figure out how to do it as we move forward. But we'll get there. So I did not spend the summer doing that this summer.
Gotcha. My schedule changed a bit for school.
How so?
I don't know if I had mentioned it before the school year ended, but in my district, our teacher contract expired at the end of last school year. So we left with the contract expiring, and over the summer, new contract negotiations continued to happen. And, in August, it was announced, okay, we've settled on a contract, we're going to have that ratification meeting, the whole thing. And one of the results of that, besides, an increase in pay, was adding 20 minutes to the school day, K through 12. So what that translated to in my school was adding 10 minutes to the start of the day and 10 minutes to the end of the day to have this 20 minutes additional time. And previously, and I know I talked about it, where in my school, kids started with their first block class, because we're block schedule, AB days. And there was always this 20-minute advisory period that was a part of the first block class. So you had your 80 minutes of instructional time, and then you had an additional 20 minutes with that first group of kids where, you could counsel with them, conduct, student conferences with them, and just kind of get to know those kids, right?
Right.
So now the schedule has, at the beginning of the day, this 40-minute homeroom. So they took the 20 minutes from the end of the first class and they put it with the time that they added at the beginning. So my school day starts with a 40-minute advisory period.
Oh, boy.
So instructional time doesn't begin. The first class of the day doesn't begin until 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Students have to be in by 7:45 into our homerooms. They're with us for 40 minutes, and then we go into the day where they have, I still teach 3 classes a day. Students take 4, the lunch.
Yep.
And my school day, rather than end at 2:26, my school day ends at 2:36.
What are your thoughts so far on the first part of the day?
Well, I'll be honest. I think they did it because now if a kid shows up sometime in that
8:30.
first 40 minutes, they're not late for their first class.
Makes sense.
I think that's the biggest plus. Right.
And what do you guys do in your advisory? Is it well shaped, or is it just like
They have, well, first they made a point of saying, it's non-instructional. There's no grade attached to it.
Right, of course.
And we're not required to do any planning for it. So they give us, I guess the focus is they're giving us social emotional learning activities.
Yeah.
So they're providing content for us to use in that 40 minutes that we can use, or if we want to do our own things, we're welcome to do that. I don't have it alone. Many teachers have a colleague to do it with.
Okay.
So I am paired with another teacher, and we have an 11th grade group of students. And they told us that the plan is, and again, we got to see how it unfolds in the next couple of years, that we would loop with the groups we have. So me and this other woman, we should have these kids again next year when they're seniors. And then in year 3, we'd get a group of freshmen to then have each year,
Right.
Doing that.
Okay.
I think one of the other benefits, though, is because of having the advisor at the beginning, and this kind of factored into testing. We're both in New Jersey. We're both familiar with the Start Strong assessment, which who doesn't love that, right? And in my school, they were utilizing, so instead of losing instructional time for testing, they leveraged this advisory time for testing. And at least at the high school, I don't know what it's like for you because, you're middle school, how they break it up. But this week we had 2 days of testing where they did the testing to start the day, and we used our delayed opening schedule.
Right.
So we didn't lose a class. It wasn't like some janky schedule kind of cobbled together.
Right.
But some negatives that I've experienced in the first couple of weeks are, it's a high school, so they try to have a class meeting with like all the 9th graders, all the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders to start the year with their VPs. The principal kind of set the expectations for the year. And they've done those at the end of the day, whereas like I'm kind of like, and other colleagues of mine are like, why aren't we trying to do these meetings within these first 40 minutes? Like run this assembly. Let's not lose instructional time.
Right. Of course.
We'd had our emergency drills later in the day. Why wouldn't we use this 40 minutes of quote unquote non-instructional time?
Makes sense.
So again, I mean, those are things above my pay grade,
right.
but
things
that make me go, I don't understand.
Right, but things got ironed out because you can't just jump into it. You got to kind of see what works. And I'm sure throughout the year you're going to have a lot of different schedule changes, and I'm sure things are going to be, moved around here and there because you got to see what works, and you got to listen to what the students say and what the teachers say. So, I would say for the first year, roll with it. You're allowed to question it because, you see things, but, again, like just kind of see where it goes and don't make your expectations too high because next year it might change all over again.
Yeah, no, you're right. And again, I think back to one of our more popular episodes from last year where we got the advice from our guest to not walk around complaining about stuff, but like, how can we not complain, but how can we like take action and, really kind of move forward with things? So I've kind of still taken that to heart, and I'm still trying to do that. So I have questions, but I'm not running around like bitching and moaning about stuff.
Right. Of course. And that was one of our last episodes with Jake Thompson from Compete Every Day that you're referring to.
Yes. And if you haven't listened to that episode, definitely go back and listen to that. Jake was a plethora of knowledge and positivity.
Jake was on fire.
Oh yeah. I think the fire alarm went off in that episode. Listen carefully. Any big changes for you going into this school year? I mean, your school is still 5, 6, 7, 8?
5, 6, 7, 8. No changes, honestly. Everything is kind of, we're going through it. This is, to be honest, my first real year as assistant principal.
But on paper, it's year 3?
It's year 3. It's year 3, but it's my first like real year. Like you think about my first year there was fully hybrid, right? And the kids were in the building until part of November, then we're out, then back in January, then out, and then mix and match from like April to the end of the year. And then last year was a weird year, which I think last year was harder than the year before, just based on restrictions and all that kind of stuff. And then this year, like everything is like back to business as usual, and things are going pretty smoothly. Knock on wood, kids are doing well, and I like the energy. There's a lot of positivity flowing around, and really just kind of we're getting into a groove. I can't believe 1 month of school is done and we're moving forward. So now we're just trying to figure out how we can kind of build on this momentum. I'm working on the PBIS stuff, and I can't wait to talk about that as we move forward, but I'm not ready for that just yet. It's been 2 years of research, and now finally the action is going to be put in place. So big meeting with our PBIS team this week. So we're looking forward to what's going to happen here in our school.
No, I definitely look forward to, hearing us swap these educational stories as we go through this school year, because education is certainly, on a good day, it's dynamic, right? If wherever you are, if it's static education is not good. Yeah. It needs to be fluid. It needs to be evolving, right? But actually kind of what you said kind of rolls into the title of this episode, meaning, has education reached its new normal? So you just talked about how, this is year 3, but you feel like it's your first real year being a vice principal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're a month in. Do you feel like your expectations are being met? How do you feel in the role in what is, I guess, this new normal for you?
What do you mean by? First of all, let's define what do you mean by new normal? Like, what are you? Because I don't know. Are you seeing something different in a classroom setting that you haven't seen, or things changing and evolving around you that like are making it stand out in a different way for you?
Well, I mean, before COVID, I was in the classroom. You were you in the classroom before COVID, or had you moved into admin?
The supervisor role.
You were in that supervisor position. Okay. So this title for me is like, all right, like I'm in my school, no masks for teachers. They're, they're optional, we encourage them. So, I'm seeing a lot of students' faces where I haven't seen their faces in, years,
Right.
3.
Right.
But I still see students who are choosing to wear masks. Some of my colleagues, choose to do the mask thing. This year, for the first time in 3 years, like the water fountains are turned back on again.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, are we back? And, if we're back, is it better, or are we sliding into old habits? I'm just curious, what we think, or even, what you, the listener, thinks. What does it look like for everybody?
I got you. I think we're back. Right? I think we're back, and I think it's time to look at school as to what we can do for our kids. Right? I think we're seeing that. The kids struggled a whole bunch over the last 2.5 years. And I think we're back now, putting on a show for education and helping out students the best we can. Are things totally changed for the better and improving? No, I think it's very easy to say we have technology, but I don't know if everybody is using it the right way. I'm sure people are getting comfortable. They got their classrooms set up the way they used to look. The restrictions aren't there here in New Jersey, so now we can have desks close together. We can have our groupings again, and we can do all those things. So, I think people are. I hate to say it, but I feel it's easy for people to kind of go back to their old lessons. Look at the plans they had and say, okay, I can do this now. This is a project that I can do. This is something that worked before. It's definitely going to work again. I miss doing this. This is my favorite thing. So it's very easy to fall back because, it kind of makes it like a safety net.
Right.
I enjoyed this. I know it's going to work. So I need a little bit of time to get back. I'm not ready to try something new just yet. So I don't think we're where we need to be, but I think we're on the right path. If that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense, and a lot of that resonates with me because, like you just said, I mean, there are things that I know that I haven't been able to do the last couple of years in terms of, trying to do the project-based learning and getting my students to collaborate and create certain environment for them to be able to do that. And, I know that there are things that I can now kind of go back to this year, but, and I know we've talked about this before a little bit too, that, there are things that I learned from teaching virtually or remotely and hybrid that I can employ some strategies that will enhance the classroom experience for my kids.
Right. And while I think that's there, I don't know if everybody is ready to jump into that.
Well, what are they waiting for? Let's go, people. Come on.
Yeah, I know. But I think people are still a little shell-shocked. I think people are still a little tired. So I think they need to get more comfortable in the settings that they're in. Get back to where they were. Like when you think about how things left off in 2019 and 2020, I guess that school year, right? Where it left off was kind of like that shock of like, okay, you're not going back to your classroom, at least here in New Jersey, right? You're not going back. And then all of a sudden it's, you can go back if you want to, you can work from home if you want to, you don't need to come in, you may need to come in. So like everything was up in the air. So this is the first time that like people can actually say, I'm in my room. I don't need to zoom in other students. I don't have to worry about any outside noise. I can finally teach. So I think some people just want to teach, They want to do what they love and they want to do it to what they were doing, however they were doing it. You know, I think it's going to be up to administrators. It's going to be up to instructional coaches. It's going to be up to, you know, technology coaches to really kind of push the people to do more, because, again, as we just said, it's easy to fall back, you know, but I think we really need to make sure that we don't fall back. I think we still have to continue to push forward. You know, we still have to try new things. We still have to be creative, you know, because it's very easy right now to lose our students. I think it's easier now to lose our students than it was 2 years ago. They've had technology in front of them for so long. I know we don't want to force it in front of them, but we have to use it because it's really going to help them and their creative juices, you know, if we use it the right way. Because, look, our students are bored with lecture.
Oh,
and
God,
they're going to revolt very quickly.
I kind of ran into that, not with my kids being bored, but I mean, you know, in my classes, we start with culture and world history. So me and my student teacher, Jackie, the student teacher, because I got another one.
New student teacher.
We'll get Jackie on here at some
the
point
podcast,
as well.
Jackie.
But, you know, we kind of tag teamed a little bit of lecture on, you know, the 7 elements of culture for anybody who's teaching social studies out there. And, you know, then it was like, how quickly can we get through this? Because, you know, I posted the Google slideshow to our Google Classroom. You know, I had done it as a Pear Deck when we kind of presented it to them. So we had the little different activities to engage them throughout, you know, the conversation, and try to foster more of a dialogue than just, here are the 7 elements of culture. Where's Ben Stein?
Right.
And then it was like, all right, let's get into the project. Let's take what we just talked about and let's use it. And, you know, let's do some research. How does this fit into our lives? What are examples from the past and your own existence? So it's right out the gate. How can we engage them? How can we get them doing, creating, thinking critically? You know, those 4 C's, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I can speak to that. But let me ask you. So, again, you're in year 3 of being a vice principal, and you're kind of in this role. Are there things that you're excited to do in what feels like what a normal school year will look like that now you can try to do as that administrator? And if so, what are those things?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm definitely looking forward to, first and foremost, I think teacher academies. I think that's a big thing.
What's that?
So, thank you for asking. During our faculty meetings, we're going to have like breakout sessions where we're going to have different kind of presentations and different kind of sessions catered to, you know, our staff. So, for example, our first faculty meeting coming up, we're going to have the PBIS team meet. We're going to have the PLCs work together. We're going to have some technology stuff. We're going to have a group for PDPs, another one for SGOs, so they can kind of work together and not just sit in a meeting and listen to what's going on in the school, but like the extra time to collaborate or do the things that you need to do to catch up and move forward. Right? It's not a time to work. You know, it's not a time to grade and do lesson plans. It's a time to work together with the people around you so that you are learning together. So it's that true academic sense of the academy, like learning together as a group.
Does that time not exist in the regular school day for your teachers?
They can meet in their teams, so they have common planning time as a team.
Okay.
But now they can cross team. You know, they can do different grade levels and they can meet. Again, I'm grabbing my PBIS team, so my 11 teachers are coming with me for my team. Teachers who want to help with their SGOs, PDPs. If they're newer teachers and they want an explanation, they have that group. You know, our instructional coach is doing a session, so she's going to work with a bunch of people. Our technology coach is going to work with others as she's introducing a different technology tool that she learned about and is implementing in her classroom, so she can show that in action. So really, you know, you have the ability to move around and find something that intrigues you. So what I'd like to do with these academies going forward is, as we're going into classrooms to observe and doing our walkthroughs, if I see something, I'm going to ask those teachers to present or work with or introduce what they're doing. So I'm really excited about that. That's something they used to do, but then obviously stopped because we couldn't really meet in person for faculty meetings. So now that we're doing that, that's it's exciting. And personally, like I said at the beginning here, my PBIS goals, we've been doing 2 years of research and development, and to finally kind of put things in action in the coming months is really exciting to me.
Nice. It sounds like good stuff.
What about you? What are the big things that you want to? I know, like you totally missed out on your project-based learning, in a way.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to. I want to do more with content creation. So, some of the work I've put in behind the scenes is how to. Again, I still don't care about history in terms of content. I still want to use history as a vehicle, but I want to, and I think I'm doing the work to try and get the kids more interested in the skills-based learning where history is the vehicle. So, for example, one thing I'm going to be trying here in the next week actually is, with document-based questioning with DBQs in my history classroom. So I've been doing those.
I missed that.
And I often say, you miss it.
I do.
I often will tell kids,
DBQs.
I will often tell students, this is the most social studies thing we do in this class, right? But this year, I am not going to call them DBQs.
Ooh.
I'm going to reframe it as history labs.
Okay.
Where I want them to be more inquisitive. And in the past, we subscribe to DBQ Online. So all of the DBQs that there are binders for, we have access to them electronically. And they can work on them digitally, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for document analysis, in order to get them to be inquisitive, I want to make the documents be stations where get them up, get them moving, but kind of pose that big question that a DBQ presents. But I want them to think of it more like a lab. Like, we need to investigate. Here's this question, and this is the evidence. Whether it's 4 or 5, 6 documents, whatever the case may be. But have them collaborate through that process. Ultimately, they'll write the essay or whatever that final product is. They'll do that individually. But I want to just kind of reframe how they go through that investigative process to come up with whatever conclusion they come to.
Right. So instead of having them analyze documents and figure out which document answers the question, you're now trying to figure out how each document can successfully defend the question.
Their thesis.
There you go.
Because ultimately what I want them to do is, here's the question, give a little background knowledge. What do you think the answer is? All right. Now, how can you use these documents to support what you think?
Mm-hmm.
And really almost take them through the scientific method.
Right. I like it. And if you don't know what a DBQ is out there and you're curious, this is not just a social studies thing. It definitely works within the ELA world and probably could work within science for sure. But if you'd like to know a little bit more about DBQs, please reach out to us because I do love a good DBQ.
Yes.
I'm not even joking with you because, like, when you think about it.
Oh, I saw your face light up.
When I was in New York, right, as a student when I was living in New York, when I had to do DBQs for, like, the Regents exam and all that kind of stuff, I could do it. So simple. When I started teaching it and I started really getting that groove of DBQs, that thing became such a breeze. I used to love teaching it. Like, I could turn, like, a 7-document DBQ into, like, a 3-day lesson and, like it was nothing. Like, it was nothing. So definitely miss doing the DBQs a little bit.
How at your peak, how long would your class spend on a DBQ typically? A week. Okay.
A week to. Are you talking about solo, or are you talking about like me in the lead with asking questions and scaffolding and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. Go ahead.
So if I did it solo. Right, if I made the kids like go start to finish, I'd give them the week.
Okay.
If it was me, like in control, like documents, and we do the essay together, and then a rough draft, then a peer edit, and then 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 weeks.
I'm
3
in
weeks,
that
maybe
ballpark.
into the 3 weeks, but definitely 2 weeks. 2 weeks full, so 10 days.
I'm in that ballpark of a week, somewhere between 4 and 6 days
Right.
of class. But I'm block schedule, so then everything takes longer
That takes
in
a
real
little
time.
longer. Yeah, yeah. But I'm also dealing with middle school kids who like really need that guidance and understanding, and
Oh,
they're not
sure.
analyzing exactly as they should be, but still, doing a good job of trying to figure things out.
Yeah. So that's one thing for me, is to kind of reframe that piece of
I
my
like
class.
that. I like that.
Also, maybe as we go through some different topics, have them, again, going on the creative piece and having them think outside the box, have them do more writing or document creation where they kind of create faux primary sources,
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, journal entries or, podcasting, creating content to, demonstrate their understanding of, if I was there kind of thing.
Okay.
But a little more than just saying, pretend you're
Right.
on the Oregon Trail and you don't die from dysentery kind of thing.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, and
So-
that's the in the classroom stuff. But go ahead, what are you gonna say?
Why don't you answer your own question? Is this the new normal? And what are you thinking? Where are you at with all this?
I kind of agree with what you say in that, we still have some things to do. There's still work to be done. I know for myself, I think I'm in a very different place than I was pre-pandemic, and I'm not clawing and scratching to do things the way I used to do them. I'm still doing some of those things, but
Right.
I want to do a lot of those things differently and continue to add to it. Right? Like with the example I just gave. For everybody else, I'm kind of disappointed because I feel like more often than not, I'm seeing people trying to go backwards. And I think the profession as a whole kind of missed the boat on a lot of things, and
Yeah.
we're not so moving forward.
Right.
The pandemic shined a lot of light and brought some blemishes to light in what education is. And I don't know that we have been quick to overall move forward. There's obviously small little pockets. We can rattle off people that we're connected to who, are continuing to evolve and move forward and kind of change. But,
Yeah, but not everybody does the same thing, and I still think that
but that was normal
education-
beforehand, where
Right.
you didn't have people evolving and,
Right.
growing and changing and.
And I'm going to go back to what I said, and I hate to say this, and this is not a shot at anybody in particular, but I think those people out there who are evolving and putting their stuff on social media are not the people who are helping, but the people who are saying, "Look at me." I'm sorry. Like I think that's what it is right now, because I think too many people are still struggling. Me in certain ways, still struggling with like the change and getting into normal and doing new things that like people are not lifting them up. They're saying this is what you could be doing. They're not showing them how. They're showing them the what. Right?
Yes.
So
You hit the nail. Hold on. Time out. Everybody, he just hit the nail on the head. We get a lot of what to do. Here's what you could have. Here's what you could use. But there's not a lot of how out there.
right. And we don't want to start copying people because it doesn't work for our kids. It's just not going to work. Middle school stuff and high school stuff are not going to coexist right now.
Right.
Right? But that's not what I'm talking about. But like I don't know. I still think people can change, but we got to take it slow. Like the expectations are there that we need to change, but now we have to really work together to show how we can change and why. I was trying to say before, I still think we're fighting an uphill battle in education. It's not, the pandemic made it so show people that this is not a career for everyone. Right?
Yeah.
We're still challenged with companies that are allowing remote work. The salaries don't match. The 4-day week is increasing with some companies. We're forcing people to come into work 5 days a week, grade papers, create lessons, work at home after working a full day. While we understand we're trying to help people and give them time, look, we know the time is not there. We know it's not there. because we live it. So we can say, no matter how much, administrators are trying to help out their staff and how much superintendents are trying to help out everyone, you can't always cut things back because there's still expectations, because the state is still telling you need to do 3 different assessments throughout the year. You still need to meet these requirements. You need SGOs. You need PDPs. You need PGP. Like, there are still things that are put in place that are challenging us and not allowing us to do what we need to do to be successful. Can we allow people to work from home? No, we don't offer that. Sorry. So company X that's now allowing kids out of college, $50,000 to $60,000, schools don't offer that either. So that's 2 strikes on us, right? Oh, you want a 4-day work week? No, we can't offer that either. But we can give you a couple of vacation every now and then, So there's 3 strikes. So we're clearly seeing, with the teacher shortage, not just people not wanting to be in the classroom, it's people who don't want to be in education anymore. And you're seeing now also superintendents who are stepping down, and who wants those jobs? Nobody.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they keep going to the interim superintendents.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's October 2nd, so we're a month into the school year. And there have been moments where I have thought, what else could I do?
Oh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm not perfect. I'm not Superman,
Mm-hmm.
And there have just been days and moments where I'm like, I feel like I'm spinning my wheels,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Working with freshmen. And it's like, what else could I do?
Mm-hmm.
I had seen a meme recently, and other people might feel the same way, where it talked about a bottle of water and how, you can go to the corner store, you can get a bottle of water for $1. You can go to
The
amusement park and you'll pay $5 for a bottle of water. You go on a plane and pay $10 for a bottle of water.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same water, but it's where is the water that will determine the price or the value of the water.
Right, the value.
And
value
for people out there who feel stuck, maybe you're not in the right place.
Right. Look, it's hard.
So,
like, this is year 18 for me. I don't know. Like, I don't know where am I going next? I'm not going anywhere. According to my retirement stuff that they always send out, I got 22 years left. 22 years.
22 years.
Well, yeah. We talked about this. I don't
have the soundboard hooked up, but oh my God.
I didn't buy back my years from New York. So I got 22 years until I am fully vested into the retirement pension plan and all that nonsense.
Wait, I don't want to go on the tangent of retirement, but
what?
How long have you been working in New Jersey?
What year is this?
2022.
Yeah, so 12. No, 13?
Okay. You're vested. It's just a matter of when do you get to 25 years.
I said fully.
No. You're vested. But you want to work to get the year so you maximize the withdrawals.
Right, exactly. Like, you got to get everything out of it.
We'll probably get to that topic when we're on Podcast PD episode 300.
300?
We're close to retirement.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go, AJ.
Oh, goodness. See ya.
For people
I'm
who
not
don't
going
know
anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere, so we're stuck here. But yes, there are the things that we want to look for, and all those articles said educators are being scooped up in other states because for us, education, we got it pretty good in New Jersey. We got a union that supports us. We got a pension. We got things. We got pays. A lot of those companies out there can't offer what the schools offer us around here.
That's the thing. Like, are there ed tech companies who I could go work for and do amazing things? Sure.
Right. Are they going to give you full benefits?
But are they going to give me full benefits? Or
are they going to match your salary?
Are they going to match my salary? Nope. Last time I checked, pencil stickers and T-shirts are not worth a lot of money. But to the people that are making those moves, but to the people who have made those moves and will make those moves, good for you.
Right. Nothing wrong with it. We know people out there who've done it. It's just not my lifestyle.
No.
I can't sit behind a desk and sell product.
Right. And I don't know, and that would be the job I would get. It would not be like, oh, all of a sudden Chris Nessie works for XYZ EdTech company, and I'm the
traveling around
one
the world.
jet setting all over
Yeah,
the world.
exactly. Right.
That wouldn't be the one I get.
I'm sure your wife and kids would love you not being there. Well, probably
Yes.
wouldn't love you being there, but
Well,
different story, right?
different story. Well, this is Podcast PD. And real quick, want to take a moment here before we get to what we've been listening to and what you might be interested in listening to. Want to take a moment to thank our executive producers, without whom Podcast PD would not be possible. So I want to give some shout outs to Holly Landez, Sandy Hartman, and of course, Stephanie Scrocky. If you're interested in giving back to Podcast PD, go to podcastpd.com/executive producer, and you can choose how you'd like to give back. You have a couple of options. You can give back on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, and whichever one you choose, we will send some cool stuff your way, because AJ and I like to podcast. We like to have these conversations, and if you're getting value and you want to give something back, this is how you do it. podcastpd.com/executive producers. Also, I don't have it on the screen because I'm ill prepared, shocker, and want to give a nice shout out to StreamYard, because they hooked us up with another bit of support of using more features on their service. So if you too want to create live streams like this in your school or your personal life, where you can stream simultaneously to places like Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn, StreamYard is how we do it, and you can do it too. Go to podcastpd.com/StreamYard, and you can get started today. And make sure you use our link so that way they know that we sent you. And maybe next time we'll talk about how you can get great tickets to sporting events.
That's a different podcast.
Different podcast. AJ,
Yo.
Podcast PD was founded on the idea of listening to
Podcast.
podcasts for learning.
Yeah.
So we want to stay true to our roots. And let's talk about what we've been listening to. I got a great share because I know you might not be prepared, but I came ready to rock tonight. So one podcast that I have been enjoying that has brought back a lot of nostalgia, a lot of memories, and I don't know, somehow relates to education if you really think about it. And I've been listening to a Boy Meets World rewatch podcast. And this is a great show, AJ. This is called Pod Meets World. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. I have it up here on the screen. Words are hard. I have it up on the screen. It is from iHeartMedia, and it is hosted by Eric Matthews, Topanga Lawrence, and Sean Hunter. Those are their character names.
Right. I was going to say, that's not who they are.
So it's Ryder Strong, Danielle Fishel, who, AJ, let's be honest, did you have a crush on Topanga?
You want to be honest?
I want you to be honest.
No.
What?
Yeah, no. Sorry.
And Will Friedle. So they're hosting this rewatch podcast of Boy Meets World. And they've had former co-stars on. There's a great episode with, what's his name? I want to say Mr. Feeney, but he has a real name.
He does. Kit from Knight Rider.
Yes. Hold on. What's his name?
He's Kit from Knight Rider. I'm sorry. That's just the way it goes, because
William
when I
Daniels.
think about it,
William Daniels.
When I think about it, he's still Kit. Like, he was Mr. Feeney.
Yes.
But he's Kit.
So he was on an episode, which, fun fact, in those later seasons when they're off at college and there's that dean, the female dean, they're actually married.
In real life.
That's his wife, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So they were both on the show together.
Oh.
But yeah, go search for Pod Meets World if you were a fan of Boy Meets World back in the mid to late 90s. Definitely give that a listen.
Was that that was a TGIF show, right?
That was definitely TGIF.
Right? Yeah, all right.
Fun fact, I'll throw some spoilers out there. Remember the character of Minkus, the little nerd in the first season?
Yes.
Well, he was only in the first season, and then he was back in like the episode they graduated from high school. And the reason he was taken off the show was because ABC said, we've already got a show on the air with a nerd on it.
That's funny.
So they did not want to have Minkus and Urkel competing with each other.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, but yeah, go check out Pod Meets World. And certainly I will have more educationally appropriate podcasts. But let's be honest, sometimes you just got to escape and not think about education.
Man. Need the self-care.
Self-care. All right, AJ, do you have a recommendation or something you've been listening to and enjoying?
No. Here's the deal. So, I've been listening to a couple of things. So maybe I shouldn't say no. So let me rewind there. I haven't been listening to a lot of educational podcasts because I haven't had the time to like sit and be, engulfed in podcasts. But is that the right word I want to use? Engulfed? I guess so. I'm gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go. I'll give you a couple that are like. First of all, shout out to Jake Thompson. I know he's not listening to this, but you can listen to his podcast, the Compete Everyday Podcast. He does 3 episodes a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and he focuses on different content specialty areas. So like Mondays is leadership, Wednesdays is like self-help, and Fridays is like an interview or something like that, right?
Did we want to do the announcement that we're going to go to the 3-day-a-week format for everybody?
We are not.
No, we're not.
We are not. I'm having a hard enough time doing once a month or every other week. I'll give you another one because this now is like that mental aspect of it and mental performance and like getting into your groove. I've been listening to the Increase Your Impact podcast with Justin Sua. It's a podcast for leaders. That's the title. So it's Increase Your Impact with Justin Sua. These podcasts are like 2 to 5 minutes daily. Does a great job. All right, I love it, and I think you'll love it. And the last podcast, I just want to make sure I get the name of it right. So I apologize for this. Just give me a second as I pull this up. It's called the Mental Performance Daily. Mental Performance Daily. It's with Brian Kane. So it's Mental Performance Daily with Brian Kane. Again, some of the podcasts are long, but a lot of these are like 5-8 minutes. I listen to it on the drive in, listen to it on the drive back if I don't listen to Yankee stuff, and then, on with my day. So all 3 of those podcasts, again, maybe take up a half hour of my day. So those are easy listens for me. But I'll get back to the education stuff, once I kind of get into that groove. I have not been in a groove for education lately.
For
this
sure.
is the most
and
I've talked education in months.
Don't I know it?
You too.
Me too. Well, my recommendation and AJ's recommendations will be in our show notes at podcastpd.com/123, or you can tap or swipe in the app you're listening to right now, and those links will be there. A couple of things before we wrap up the show. Did you have something?
Did I have something?
Your lips kind of squished up like you were going to say something.
Well, you said 1, 2, 3, so I automatically thought Spaceballs and said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's it. Spaceballs. Sorry. Nice. That's how my mind works. Not everybody knows.
There you
my
go.
mind
Coming
works
up on episode 124,
references.
we're going to talk about the Schwartz. The Schwartz and Schwartz EDU. That's going to be our niche, and someone's going to take it now. You know this, right?
Damn it.
And we'll have the Schwartz. We're going to have Spaceballs EDU, the lunchbox.
The lunchbox. Okay.
Real quick, a couple of things before we say goodbye for this episode. Number one, we would love to have a textual relationship with you. So you can text and join our texting community. Text at PodcastPD to 81010. And that is powered, of course, by the only text message company in education, Remind, I guess. There's others, but we're using Remind for this. So text at PodcastPD to 81010. If you are watching this on YouTube and you are not subscribed, go to podcastpd.com/go, and that will give you the options on your device of where you'd like to listen to this podcast. And next up, this is new. AJ hasn't seen this yet. Number 3, call to action. Very important. We're planting a little seed, and I'd like to water it. I want you to join our brand new PodcastPD Discord. I've tried this with House of Ed Tech. It's growing, so I appreciate the people who listen to the podcast and come over there for some conversation and questions. So come out to podcastpd.com/discord, DISCORD, and I've got some channels set up there already. I'll throw this back up on the stream.
I'll let you run with that one.
I'll run with this one.
You do it all day.
So if you have episode suggestions, you want to follow up, you want to talk about the podcast you're listening to, we want to create that place for you. So again, if you go out to podcastpd.com/discord, you can join up and we can continue the conversations we have in these episodes over there. And we'll give it some time. If nobody joins, obviously I'll shut it down, Gordon Ramsay style, but give it a shot. You know, a wise man once said that using new technology isn't difficult. Just give it a try. And that was me. So give it a shot. AJ, anything else before we say goodbye?
Nothing else. Hang in there as October begins. You know, stay positive. Make those changes. Change the world. And, you know, that's all I got.
There you go. We will see you next time on Podcast PD. That's really it.
That's it.
we're
see you
we're
guys
stumbling
next
to
time.
the finish line. We'll see you on the next episode. It should be a couple weeks.
Forward. Progress
Keep
is
going
progress,
forward.
no matter how slow.
Stephanie, thank you for checking us out live. And I don't know who else is here watching us, but hey, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.